I found out my entire family skipped my housewarming to go see my cousin's new apartment instead, and I'm still asking myself if I overreacted when I finally snapped and cut them all off, because the moment I stood alone in my dream house with cold food on the table and unanswered messages on my phone, something in me broke. Was I wrong for what I did after that? Honestly, tell me, if this happened to you, would you have reacted any differently? I remember standing in the middle of my living room, balloons slowly sagging from the ceiling, the smell of food I'd cooked since dawn filling a space that was supposed to be loud and full of laughter. I had checked my phone so many times the screen felt warm in my hand, refreshing messages that never came, calling people who didn't answer, telling myself there had to be some misunderstanding, because this wasn't just a party to me. This house was my dream, my proof that I had made it, that all the years of being overlooked, underestimated, and quietly pushed aside had actually led to something real. Let me rewind, because this didn't start with a missed housewarming. This started my entire life ago. Growing up, I was the responsible one, not the favorite, not the golden child, not the one everyone bragged about. That was my cousin. The same cousin they all went to see instead of me. Let's call her Sarah. Sarah was loud, charming, dramatic in a way that people found entertaining. She failed upward. If she quit a job, someone blamed the job. If she messed up, someone else fixed it. Meanwhile, I was expected to just handle things. I did well in school, worked part-time, paid my own way through college, and never asked for much, because I learned early that asking didn't get me anywhere. My parents weren't cruel, not in the obvious way. They just forgot me. They remembered Sarah's birthdays with huge parties, but forgot mine until the last minute. They showed up to her graduations and job celebrations, but when I graduated, they told me they were tired and would celebrate later. Later never came. I learned to clap for myself quietly and keep moving. Buying a house was never supposed to happen for me, at least not according to my family. I was told to be realistic, to rent forever, to not aim too high. But I worked 2 jobs for years. I skipped vacations, said no to dinners out, wore clothes until they fell apart. Every paycheck, I watched my savings grow. When I finally signed the papers, sitting in that office with my name on them, I cried so hard the agent awkwardly slid me tissues and pretended not to notice. This house wasn't huge, but it was mine. A small yard, big windows, a kitchen I'd always dreamed of cooking in. I couldn't wait to share it. Despite everything, I still wanted my family there. I still wanted their approval, their pride, their acknowledgement that I had done something big. So I planned a housewarming. I sent invitations weeks in advance. I followed up with calls and texts. Windows, a kitchen I'd always dreamed of cooking in. I couldn't wait to share it. Despite everything, I still wanted my family there. I still wanted their approval, their pride, their acknowledgement that I had done something big. So I planned a housewarming. I sent invitations weeks in advance. I followed up with calls and texts. Everyone said they'd come. My mom said she was proud of me. My dad joked about bringing his appetite. Even Sarah said wouldn't miss it. The day of the housewarming, I woke up before sunrise. I cleaned even though the house was already spotless. I cooked dishes my family loved, things I remembered from childhood, hoping nostalgia would soften them, bring us together. I set the table nicely, bought decorations I couldn't really afford, but justified as a one-time celebration. I got dressed and looked at myself in the mirror, smiling in a way that felt fragile but hopeful. The time came. Then it passed. At first, I told myself people were just late. Then my phone buzzed. Not with apologies, but with a photo. It was in the family group chat. Sarah standing in front of a modern apartment building. Keys in hand, surrounded by my parents, my aunts, uncles, cousins, all smiling like they were at a movie premiere. The caption read, "So proud of Sarah. New beginnings." I stared at that message until my vision blurred. I started calling. No one answered. I texted my mom. Nothing. I texted Sarah, asking what was going on. Finally, hours later, she replied casually, "Oh, sorry. Everyone just decided last minute to come here instead. You understand, right?" Understand. That word echoed in my empty house. I sat down on the floor and laughed, a hollow sound that scared me. They didn't even tell me. They didn't even apologize properly. They just chose her. Again. I spent that evening alone, eating cold food straight from the containers, surrounded by decorations meant for people who never showed up. And as the night went on, something shifted inside me. All the moments I'd swallowed came back up. Every forgotten birthday, every comparison, every time I was told to be patient, to be mature, to understand. The next few days, my family acted like nothing had happened. My mom called to ask if I could help her with paperwork. My aunt asked if I could lend her some money. Sarah posted photos of her apartment tour with captions about family support. No one asked how I felt. No one acknowledged the housewarming at all. That's when I stopped responding. At first, it was just silence. I needed space to think, but the more I thought, the angrier I became. I realized I had spent my entire life trying to earn love that was freely given to someone else. I decided I was done. Before I tell you what I did next, I want you to pause for a second and really put yourself in my place. You work for years, buy your dream house, invite your family to celebrate, and they don't even show up because something more exciting comes along. Would you forgive them? Or would you walk away? Comment what you would have done, because this is where things really blew up. I finally agreed to meet my parents. They came over looking uncomfortable, glancing around my house like they were seeing it for the first time. My mom said, "It's nice," in a distracted way. I asked them straight out why they didn't come. My dad sighed and said, "Sarah needed us." I asked why I didn't. My mom said, "You're strong. You don't need us the same way." That sentence hurt more than anything else. I told them strength shouldn't mean being ignored. I told them how humiliated I felt, how alone. My mom cried. My dad got defensive. They said I was overreacting, that it was just a party. That family doesn't keep score. I laughed again, that same hollow laugh, and told them I'd been keeping score my whole life because no one else bothered to. I told them I was done being the afterthought. I asked for space, real space. Not a week, not a month, but distance until they could see me as more than the reliable backup child. They left in silence. The fallout was messy. My phone blew up with messages from relatives calling me dramatic, ungrateful, selfish. Sarah posted vague quotes about jealousy and support. But something surprising happened too. I felt lighter. My house felt peaceful. For the first time, it was truly mine. Not a stage waiting for an audience that never came. Months passed. I decorated slowly, intentionally. I hosted friends who actually showed up. I celebrated small wins. I learned that family doesn't have to mean people who share your blood, but people who show up when it matters. Eventually, my parents reached out again, this time with actual apologies. They admitted they hadn't realized how deep the pattern went. We're rebuilding, slowly, with boundaries I should have set years ago. Some relatives are still distant. Sarah and I don't talk. And that's okay. Standing in my living room now, I look around at my dream house and realize it was never just about the building. It was about finally choosing myself. Sometimes the most painful moments are the ones that force you to grow. So that's my story. Like this video if you were on my side. Subscribe for more stories like this, and share your final thoughts on this whole mess in the comments section. I'll see you all in the next story.